and this here may be tough to you. Snack cake to me, yeah, more hostess. This been overdue forever. Asked me when it was dropping, said never. Should've made you cut the feta, but I designed it Freemason Margiela.
What's goody, Shellitronnn here, the most spoke, no joking. I'm back again with a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it a Boatberry biscuit. I did not expect to see this news today. In fact, I did not expect to see any news today, but the Panthers keep giving me content. And that's kind of a selfish way of putting it because honestly, the Panthers are making the team better. It's kind of like addition by subtraction. And if you haven't heard the news yet, there are a pair of tweets that you just gotta see. There's a pair of tweets that you just gotta see. Throw up this first one here from Joe Person saying, Panthers will not re-sign safety Mike Adams per source. And as Adams indicated on social media, he had an Instagram post like right before this one saying basically the same thing, saying he was informed by the Panthers that he was not going to be signed again. He expressed his appreciation to the fan base, to the franchise, everything like that for his time here. That was all well and good. Going off the tweet here. Not unexpected and part of teams' plan to get younger and faster on defense. And I'm going to go ahead and pair this tweet with the very next one so I can go ahead and talk about both at the same time. This next tweet from Ian Rappaport saying, source, the hashtag Panthers are releasing nickel cornerback Captain Munnerlyn, a solid CB available in a less than strong free agent market at that position. I don't know where to start. My guy Ian, I know you have sources. And I know you can't watch every single NFL game. It's your job, I know, but there's no one in the world who can watch all 32 teams play every single week. You really can't do it. If you're a national NFL analyst with a big audience, I mean, you just can't watch every single game. You have to watch the big name games from the big name teams, the Patriots, Steelers, maybe the Seahawks, any team in the NFC East, you name them. You can get away with not watching a single Redskins game and be okay with it. But every other team in the NFC East, you basically are forced to watch. But in any case, there's not a lot of national guys sitting down ready to watch a Carolina Panthers game. We're a small market team. We're not like a perennial, deep playoff run team. We're not like a sexy pick like some of these other guys are getting all the time. But you've got to have better sources than people saying that Captain Munnerlyn is a solid cornerback option. I mean, I really don't care how weak the cornerback free agency market is right now. Someone's going to find out quickly enough. Some team's fan base is going to find out quickly enough. Look, I don't hate Captain Munnerlyn and I don't hate Mike Adams. Honestly, I wasn't even all that mad about Mike Adams in the first place. I know he was old. I do agree with the choice to get rid of him or let him move on or whatever. I'm not sure if he's going to retire or not. He might get another contract. I really doubt it. Who knows? It might happen. I mean, honestly, with our safety situation we had last year, Mike Adams was not the worst case scenario for us. My biggest problem with Mike Adams was 2 years ago in the playoffs versus the Saints, where he caught that interception off of Drew Brees on a 4th down, where if he just would have knocked it down, we would have been at least 20 yards further up the field. And instead, we ended up losing that game in the last play. It wasn't 100% his fault, but it would have been a lot better of a situation had he not caught that interception. And honestly, this year, look, the defense was bad. And I've been saying this a lot since week 10 or 11, honestly. It's kind of hard for me to say whether the players on defense were playing bad, if everyone on defense collectively took a step back, or if it was Eric Washington's, the old defensive coordinators, if it was a scheme. That scheme, I saw a lot of things from just lining up pre-snap to different plays. I will not stop talking about this. That 2-man rush with just one edge rusher and Luke blitzing up the middle, getting double teamed by a center and a guard. I will never, and I mean never, forgive this man for his defensive scheming. Now, I never and I will never proclaim or profess to be some kind of defensive scheming expert or even an expert on the NFL, but I can tell you without a doubt, some of those plays that Eric Washington was drawing up for the team were borderline cartoonish. Now, let's get back on track here. Captain Munnerlyn and Mike Adams being gone from the team. Look, it was time. It was time. Captain Munnerlyn has not been all that great for a while now. I was kind of highly critical of him at times, even in the preseason. I remember in 2017, he got really mad at the coaching staff because they were keeping in Shaq Thompson in nickel sets, or really they were just staying in a base 4-3 and not bringing in Captain Munnerlyn in obvious passing downs and letting Shaq cover the slot receiver instead of letting Captain Munnerlyn. Look, if you did your job a little bit better, they wouldn't have a linebacker out there covering the slot. And you would have been in the game all those times when Shaq Thompson was in there. And Shaq did a pretty good job in 2017. Took a slight step back in 2018. But for the reasons I've already mentioned, I don't want to put that all on him. Although it could have been, but we'll see next year for sure, when it's Coach Rivera calling the shots here. I mean, we can go over these guys' stats real quick. I'll start with Captain Munnerlyn here. Look, he's been in the league for 10 full seasons. Got in the league in 2009. He was a 7th round draft pick by the Panthers, the 216th overall. And the biggest thing that comes out to me here in his 10 years in the league is he only has 12 interceptions in 10 years. And that's not like a function of him not getting into games. I mean, of his 10 years in the league, I'm looking through all the games he's played. He only missed 1 game his rookie season. Missed 2 games his 3rd season in the league. But other than that, he's been in every single game other than 2016 and 2017. 16 he played in 15 games. 2017 he played in 14 games. So he's not like not getting playing time. The man's getting playing time. He's just not really producing. And it's not like he's like playing a safety position or like a linebacker position or like on the D line where you're not expected to get interceptions. 12 interceptions in 10 years is... You tell me. You call for me. I don't know. But you can't just judge a defensive back off his interceptions. I mean, it can very well possibly be that, you know, there's some times when Captain Munnerlyn could have gotten interceptions, but he decided to make the safe play and just, you know, knock the ball down. You know, you don't have to get an interception every time. Your main goal is to make sure the receiver does not catch the ball. So he could have been racking up passes defended, right? I mean, just knocking the ball away, making sure guys don't get catches on him. So he could have racked up a lot of passes defended, right? Nah. 64 total passes defended. Divide that by his 10 seasons. That's 6.4 passes defended per season. And that sounds like, you know, 6.4 passes defended each season. You're playing the nickel. You're not really always in the game. You never know how that's going to shake out for you. But when you look at his stats here, he had 2 separate seasons where he had 12 passes defended, which means in his 8 other seasons in the league, he had only 40 total passes defended, making it go down to 5 passes defended per those 8 seasons. That's not really all that impressive. If it's impressive, let me know. I don't see it. I mean, I can get to his tackles and whatnot. I mean, 47 tackles this past season, 29 in 2017, 55, 55, 61 going backwards. His career high was 77, but that was back in 2013. And that was also when he had 12 passes defended. And he also had 2 interceptions that were both returned for touchdowns. So that was obviously his best career year. So we get a little bit more context there with Captain Munnerlyn. I think it was just time to go with him. He was honestly not that great in coverage. I saw him getting lost against second stringers in the preseason. We kept him in preseason games for a lot longer than I expected us to. And that told me a lot about how the team was thinking. They really wanted to evaluate even more. And you really can't evaluate starting talent against, you know, second and third stringers unless you don't think that talent is actually starting talent. And it looks like the Panthers are just saying, look, we just got to cut bait. Mike Adams, I could go over his stats. I mean, look, it ain't that great. He has a lot of tackles. I mean, 75 tackles this year, going backwards, 69, 79, 75, 106. Passes defended, looking all right. 6 last year, 10 in 2017, only 2 in 2016 with the Colts. Looking through his stats, he's had some pretty solid seasons. He's just kind of old. I mean, what is he, like 38? And it's right about the time. We're at the end of the road with Mike Adams. It's time to pack it up. He's had some really, I'm not against this man at all. He's just older and slower. And one of the biggest things, you watch my channel, you'll know that I really do like bigger, taller defensive backs. Mike Adams was 5'11", Captain Munnerlyn's 5'9". Long wingspan and height are my 2 biggest things. You know, speed, obviously, you know, tracking the ball, those are givens. But for measurables, definitely height and wingspan. And I think as a whole, getting rid of these 2 guys are both, you know, solid upward momentum movements here. Addition by subtraction. And in a tweet that I saw from Jordan Rodriguez, this Captain Munnerlyn cut is not going to be considered a post-June 1st cut. So we're going to be saving only about $2 million in cap rather than 3. But honestly, it's money saved, so I'm not too mad about that. But the biggest takeaway from this story isn't really these cuts here. I mean, the cuts lead you to the biggest story that's not being told right now. I think the biggest news here is that the Panthers are gearing up to be aggressive in free agency in the secondary. I think the Panthers are going to be very aggressive in free agency right now for the secondary because the team has obvious needs. They have to address a lot of different needs in the draft. We need edge rushers. We need O-linemen. We may look at a receiver. We may look at, you know, backup running backs. We did just sign Elijah Hood again to a 1-year deal. I'll do a video on that if I get around to it later on today. Look for that one. But with us getting rid of our starting safety and our starter, like #1 nickel corner, which is kind of an oxymoron, but you know what I'm trying to say here. Our #1 nickel guy, our guy in the slot. There's almost too many needs for the team to just go ahead and get them all in the draft. We're going to have to be aggressive in free agency, and I really might be on that train. A lot of you guys are saying this name, but I wasn't really getting on that train because I was thinking, you know, we really have a lot more needs, and we have to, like, look at other things, but Earl Thomas? might potentially be on the Panthers short list for a free agent pickup this offseason. Before, I actually was ruling it out, saying there's too many different factors here. But now I might have hopped on the other side of that fence. I might be leaning toward with you guys here. I mean, obviously we still have Rashawn Golden, and we still have to see, what we can get out of him. But I just don't think we're going to go ahead and bet the farm on Rashawn Golden right now because, against what we might be thinking, Rashawn Golden actually did get a fair amount of snaps last year. Not a lot, but he was in for 14% of the defensive snaps. That's the same number of snaps that David Mayo got at linebacker. That's slightly less snaps than F.A. Abada got. That's triple the snaps that C.J. Anderson got for us at running back last year. So we did see a little bit of Rashawn Golden, and the fact that we don't even remember or even acknowledge it just tells you just how small of an impact he had. He can get better. This is not me saying he was a bust. I'm just saying the team may not be thinking, let's go ahead and start this man for sure. We'll test our options out. I really, really want to see what our moves are in free agency and the draft. I think the team is going to go aggressive in free agency for a nickel corner or a safety. But what do you guys think, man? What are your thoughts on all this? Let me know in the comments below. And you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Being told y'all I been the man. Being told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.